Okay, let's begin.
Can we talk about chapter 1 too?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, our first chapter we have is the love chapter. Just to refresh memory, that's when he visits Lieutenant Jimmy Cross, and they spend a full day looking at old photographs and talking about the war. And they kind of talk about Martha.
Yeah. So basically, when they were talking, they were just saying a lot about the war that happened, just as those two. I think it's easier to talk about the war with somebody that's been through the war rather than somebody who hasn't been. I think that's basically just what they're doing.
I think that they just like to, well, it says in the chapter how they start with like something so serious, and then all of a sudden they start like drinking gin or whatever, and they end up getting like drunk and laughing, and it says that they like smoke cigarettes all night together or whatever. And he ends up asking about like Martha and what happened after the war, and they have a big discussion about that. And he just says how after the war he went and saw Martha at a reunion, and she became like I think it was a Lutheran missionary, and she went to a few different countries, and she said that she still hadn't married and she didn't know why. And then when he tried to when Jimmy Cross tried to like touch her hand and tell her he loved her, she just didn't respond. So I don't know. What do you guys like think that says about Martha?
She wanted to friend zone him.
Why would you write him letters all that time?
I almost thought she loved him.
I guess so, because when they were at the movie, she wouldn't let him do anything. He just wishing that he would have just done it himself and just touched her.
So do you think he misconstrued things when he was away?
Probably. When you're in that kind of situation, you have to hold on to something. And the love is a good thing to keep you going, and if you don't have that, it's very easy to misconstrue things like that.
I think they must have been like really good friends like before the war, before he got sent off or whatever. So once he got sent off, she was probably really like worried about him and wanted to make sure he was doing okay. But I don't think she meant it to like, as in she like loved him or whatever.
Was she the one that sent him this talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, why did you?
She was always with him. But in the
It was like she had, he went on like, she touched it, that's a little she picked it up. Why would she send him a stone?
Maybe back then it was something good luck.
Oh, it was because it was like right at the very edge where the tide hit the sand. Right there, so it was just where a different country meets their country.
Okay, before we go on to the next chapter, everybody open up to page 29 quick. Yeah. Top of 29. He gets into his car, he rolls down his window, it says, "Make me out to be a good guy, okay? Brave and handsome, all that stuff. Best platoon leader ever." He hesitated for a second. "And do me a favor, don't mention anything about," "No, I said I won't." What do you think he's talking about? What does he not want Tim O'Brien to mention? Joy?
I thought he was going, I put like in my notes that I assumed that in the chapter he's talking about when Ted died, because I feel like, that's something they don't want to talk about.
Good. That's one interpretation. You would have a different interpretation of that?
Like her feel bad, like if she was reading him.
Oh, Martha.
Yeah, so
Okay.
she would like, it was her fault.
I thought Keel was deaf, because that's when he kind of went off the deep end, writing that letter to his dad.
Yeah, how is it Jimmy's fault that Keela dies? And we'll talk about this later too.
He ends up in they call it, I said thought, but ends up in that field, and they could have like went to higher ground, but he ended up picking that, and they sat there all night, and Kiawa ends up like being stuck under it because it said in that chapter like once you like step down, your whole body just like sank, so he gets stuck under.
I was going over some summaries last night, and this one I was reading, it says that Martha had been a victim of rape. Have you ever? It said, I have it here, it says,
What's your source that it's from?
Cliff Notes.
Okay.
It says, she had never married, she did not know why she had not, including her remark about how men do those things. It says that the author reveals that Martha had been the victim of rape, but it was only subtle.
Huh. That's interesting. What do you
I
guys
mean,
think?
that kind of makes sense because, like, she does say at the end how he's like, so she's so glad he never did that because she can't see how guys can like do that stuff and live with themselves or whatever. With that part, so I guess it's kind of leading into it.
All the war and rape, that makes a lot of sense. I thought she was just talking about the war, but she wouldn't be writing it if she did.
Right. And that would explain her kind of jumpiness at being touched or wanting him to stay away from her.
I think maybe that was what he didn't want to mention anything about. Or it's either that, to me it's either something like that, or something like Jimmy Cross must have like killed somebody or a few people, and he doesn't want to talk about that, because throughout the whole story they talk about like the people who died, but they only really talk in one chapter about like how they killed somebody. They never really talked about who they killed a whole lot, I guess.
I think it's what you said before about Jimmy camping them in that field. Because it's totally his fault that he would die. Okay, good. Let's go on to spin. This one's pretty short, so you might not have much or anything for this part. Kind of a bunch of random thoughts.
Yeah, just kind of, this is when Mitchell Sanders mailed that lice to the draft board,
Yeah.
and Bowker and Dobbins played checkers.
This is also the chapter where Ted Lavender adopts a puppy, and Azar, it says right here on page 35, strapped the puppy to a Claymore anti-personnel line and squeezed the firing device. I love the puppy. I don't
so
understand.
sad.
I'm laughing at that.
I still can't understand why Azar wanted to, hated everybody so dang much.
What do you guys think? Azar's pretty messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely weird.
I think it's a way for him to cope.
Yeah. I don't think he like tries to be that mean, but I think. Well, I think it's just like I think he's honestly just so pissed off that he's there that he just takes it out on
Was
everybody
he the
else.
one that killed that water buffalo too?
No, that's
that
right.
was,
That guy.
that was Kat.
That's the knack.
Did you have a comment?
I think him killing the puppies you think huge, happy, joy, that doesn't belong in so why, yeah.
I picture him as one of those guys that comes back from war and like has, Haley wrote about this in one of her papers, severe PTSD, can't cope, commits suicide. That's like how I picture him. Totally violent. Good, other thoughts from this chapter?
Why would they just like playing checkers?
This is like the one where
We talked about boredom. This is the one they were talking about.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. Boredom is the kind of like,
Oh yeah, when you weren't humping, you were waiting. Monotony.
it was completely boring and then something blew up.
Oh hey, Mrs. Brown, I think it's been about 10 minutes.
Thanks.
Morgan, hi.